Hello, welcome back to Erica's Little Welsh Garden. Today we're going to be looking at my brand new allotment that I took on a few months ago, and if there was an award for the worst kept allotment on YouTube, I think I would probably be winning it. So I did start off with some really good intentions for this allotment plot. I did quite a lot of digging on it to begin with, but what I didn't do, I think, was actually dig it over properly. I used the hoe, I kind of gave it a quick turnover, planted stuff straight into it, and then didn't kind of keep on top of weeding and stuff. And within kind of a couple of months, we've had really good rain, haven't we? And it has just completely exploded. The crops that I planted have been completely overtaken with weeds. And I think it is going to take quite a bit of time to actually get it back in control, but I've been working really well on my other plot the last week, and I think if I get my head down in the next couple of weeks, I can have this ready for planting up in autumn. I'll show you a few things on the plot and what's gone wrong with my cabbages and stuff, and then I will let you know what I'm thinking of doing with the plot. So here you have it. Here is the completely overgrown allotment, where you can see that green compost heap at the end. That's kind of just the very end corner of my allotment. Just at the front here I have a raised bed that's got some chives in and some marigolds or calendula, whatever you call them. And then if you move over here, this is kind of an area that I did actually completely dig over, but obviously all of those marigold seeds were in the ground, and if you've got them, you know that they propagate like crazy from seed. To be honest though, looking at it here, I could just call it like a wild flower meadow or something, and actually I think that's quite successful. But yeah, just kind of in this area here, my son Stanley planted some Desiree potatoes in this area. You can see there is still some growth there, still alive, so I'm going to wait for him and we're going to harvest those together. But they did quite a lot of growing before the weeds took over though, so they should have done okay. Now this pumpkin here that's kind of trailing off down there is a cheeky prince, and that came from Richard and Paul. If you're not familiar with their channel, I'll put it below. I also planted some other potatoes here. I've got no sign of them whatsoever, but I do think that they did actually grow quite well before they died off, and I think maybe they were King Edward. Over in this raised bed here, that I've dug this over about 3 times, and I'm not sure, is this couch grass? Because it does keep coming back, and I'm wondering if that's what it is. I did put a sacrificial what's it called, cabbage in there. That's a big paddy, and as you can see, it has been nibbled and eaten by lots of slugs. Now this is the broad beans that I put in really late. I'm really sorry if there's wind noise, by the way. I put these in really late, and I did manage to get a couple of little harvests from them, but I've just let them do their thing, and I will be pulling those out shortly. There was a lupin here that I picked up from somebody at my gardening club. That was a really nice orangey one. That's gone over now, and I've saved the seed pod here, so I'll be saving the seeds from that. Now I planted a row of cabbages here. You should be able to just make that row out there. They've been pretty much completely annihilated by slugs and by caterpillars. This one looks really good, but it's obviously been completely eaten. So I put the row in along here, and I'll put a link to the video above in the cards now. I'll also put it below. You can kind of see how weed free this area was. Now what I did was I got some netting here, and I put the netting all the way across, and basically I don't know what was going on, but they got eaten by slugs, and the caterpillars got in there. I'm thinking though that what happened was, because I dug this area over really quickly and then put loads of stuff in straight away. I think because it was such a densely it was so dense with weeds before that there were just loads and loads of slugs and snails thriving in this area, that as soon as I took away all of their food and gave them cabbages, they just ate them straight away. But yeah, so this area here, this is an apple tree. My son got me this for my birthday, and I've only just put it in here. No idea what rootstock it's on. There is also a plant pot that is flown into this area, but if you'll notice with this, I've planted it in the ground here, but the graft is so high up that it means that I can kind of keep mulching it for years to come and never worry that I'm going to be covering the graft. If you don't know, if you cover the graft, then it's been grafted onto most likely quite a small rootstock. So above the graft, as you can see, the bark looks different. That's because it's from an actual apple tree above. So if you have a dwarf rootstock below, that means that it's going to be it's going to grow to what this dwarf rootstock would grow to, and then the apple tree will grow nicely above it. So obviously if you cover that, then that means that it will just go back to just being a normal apple tree, and then you'll end up with a huge tree that you can't actually harvest from because you need a ladder or something. Sorry, I went on a bit there, but I think I did mention about grafts before and somebody asked me, so there you go. So this area here is just completely, overgrown basically. I have some raspberries just here. They were left behind by the previous plot holders. So what my plan for kind of this area is, and I'm going to actually dig them out so I can get all of the kind of grass and stuff that's growing in there, get rid of all of that, and then I'll be able to kind of re-put them in. But as you can see, they do have some fruit coming, so I'm going to leave them alone kind of this year. Just about here, there is a big mound of horse manure that I put down. As you can see though, the grass has completely overtaken all of it. I have some black currants here. Again, I am going to sort those out, hopefully take cuttings and get some more of those, so that, you know, I can have more, but it's going to be in a much easier kind of area for me to look after it. And then pretty much all of this is overgrown. We've got my wildlife pond here. Completely just ignored that this year. The water is a little bit brown and manky looking, but it seems to be quite busy with wildlife and stuff, so possibly I will get you know, some plants or something for it to help out with cleaning it. But look, there is a big reed. I think it's a reed, no idea what they're actually called, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. It does overflow into there's loads of logs here, so it does overflow into kind of like a loggy, boggy area for wildlife as well, so it's a really good little area. But yeah, I haven't touched it. Here was, I think this originally was the compost heap. Didn't do anything with it this year, didn't grow anything in it, but possibly squash next year. And I've got a lovely pathway that goes all the way along. So my plan for kind of this year is to get some apple trees and some some fruit trees basically. I start obviously with this apple here that my son got me, but I'm thinking of putting maybe a pear here, a cherry, and another couple of trees down that way basically, and then I can have lots of fruit. As you can see, I've got my black currants there, and I've got my what are they called, raspberries there. Also, this was made for me, this raised bed was made for me when I first took on the plot. I put it there, and as you can see, it's kind of been filled with a little bit of junk. Now I'm in two minds whether to go and put this on my other plot right at the end, because it gets really waterlogged there. So I'm thinking that this potentially would probably be a little bit of a better idea to move this down there. But there you go, this is what the plot looks like at the moment, totally overgrown. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it is being helpful to wildlife because you can see that there's lots of flowers here, but it's not productive and I need it to be productive. So yeah, also there is this kind of ledge here along the side of the shipping container that we use to store all our tools in and stuff, and I am thinking that it's a lovely little ledge there, so I can probably get away with putting some nice big flower pots here and growing some extra veg in there. Now you've seen my allotment plot, would you agree that it probably does win the award of the worst kept allotment of 2019? I think it definitely does, but I do think that I can achieve getting this tidied up in the next few weeks, ready for autumn, which will be amazing because I can go and get loads of cheap kind of bare rooted fruit and get them in the ground. So many people on my allotment plot at the moment, and my allotments have lots of fruit growing on their established trees, and I am so jealous. You know, it is totally achievable if I just put my head down for a couple of weeks and get a move on. Over the last kind of month or so, things have been quite busy in life, and it's just being able to get to the plot when it's, you know, you can't kind of do major digging when it is tipping down with rain. Just in case you're wondering as well, you know, I do have 2 allotments, but with our allotment site we don't have a waiting list, and there are a number of other plots that are probably available, so I'm not kind of hogging this and taking this away from somebody that really needs it. But you know, I've got a growing family and I want to provide lots of food for them. I want to grow our own food for environmental reasons mainly, and also to save money. So you know, this is going to be amazing land for my little family. Anyway, I'm going to head off now. I will catch up with you soon. If this is the first time you're watching me, then do please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you be notified of all of my latest videos, and hopefully over the next week you'll be able to see me making a big change on this plot. Famous last words. See you later. Bye.